We're always told that solving our planet's biggest crises will take these massive, complicated, almost impossible political deals. But what if that's completely wrong? What if we've been looking in the wrong place this whole time?
What if the answer isn't about politics or opinions at all, but about simple, undeniable math? That's the wild idea behind something called the Smaragd Formel, or the Emerald Formula. And it suggests there's a revolution hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to do the numbers.
So, what is this big secret? Well, the formula gets its power from fixing one single, huge mistake in how we think, a mistake that's made us completely blind to the solutions sitting right under our noses.
Okay, so almost every analysis you've ever seen makes the exact same mistake. It compares a new idea to the wrong thing. It's kind of like judging a brand new smartphone only on its ability to make phone calls and ignoring the camera, the internet, and everything else. It's a flawed comparison from the get-go, and it totally skews the results. And here's what that looks like in the real world. The wrong comparison pits one crop against another, in a vacuum. But the right comparison looks at a new, combined system versus the entire old system it could replace. We're talking about the whole shebang, including the 80% of our farmland that's used for animal agriculture, plus industries like logging and even cement. You have to compare the whole picture, not just one tiny piece of it.
Now, you don't have to take some huge leap of faith to get this. It all starts with one super simple calculation. And this calculation, well, it's the key that unlocks the door to this whole idea.
It really just comes down to 3 logical steps. Each one is totally sound, mathematically speaking. And if you accept the logic of step 1, you pretty much have to accept the conclusion of step 3. There's no magic here, just a clear path.
So let's just walk through it. Step 1. On the same plot of land, hemp gives you 4 times more raw cellulose than a forest does. That's a 4x multiplier right there. Step 2. You can harvest that hemp twice a year. A forest, you're waiting decades. So that doubles our annual output again, taking us to a factor of 8. And step 3. You can use that same land for solar panels and the biomass, which, according to the Fraunhofer Institute, adds another multiplier up to 1.86.
You multiply those 3 simple, conservative factors together, and you get 16. That's 16 times the productivity from the exact same piece of land every single year.
And that really gets to the heart of it. This isn't a wild claim. It's not a hopeful guess. It's just math, based on data that's already out there and has been peer-reviewed.
Okay, so that factor of 16, think of that as the key that gets us in the door. It proves the basic idea works. But now, let's actually step through that door and see just how big the room is on the other side.
And this is it, the full Emerald Formula. Now, I know it looks complicated, but the idea behind it is really simple. Every part of this equation is like a lever you can pull. We already looked at a couple of them, like land use. But there are others for protein efficiency, for water use, for replacing materials we get from mining. And each one of these levers multiplies the total potential. They stack on top of each other.
So the formula doesn't just give you one single answer. Its power grows depending on which of these levers you decide to include. There's a really conservative basic number. Then there's a more optimistic one. And then there's the truly massive potential you get when you start talking about replacing some of our biggest, most destructive industries.
First up, let's just look at the most conservative calculation. Just by applying the core factors, we're looking at an efficiency gain of about 2,800 times. And no, that is not a typo, 2,800.
But then, if you add in some of the more optimistic, but still totally documented factors, like better material life cycles, that number jumps up to over 7,000 times. And now for the part that sounds like science fiction. When you calculate the potential for this system to replace materials that we currently get from mining and fossil fuels, things for construction, plastics, energy, the factor just explodes. The potential gain in efficiency is over 100,000 times. Numbers this big are, well, they're basically impossible for our brains to really get. So to make it feel a little more real, let's picture it as a stack of paper. So check this out. If the total output of our current system is just one single sheet of paper, the conservative calculation with the Emerald system gives you a nice little 46-page report. But when you add in the potential to replace materials from mining, that one single page becomes a stack of over 1,600 pages. That's a stack 17 centimeters high. We are talking about a completely different reality here. And when you see numbers like this, it all leads to one simple, powerful challenge. A challenge that's really meant for you.
I know what you're probably thinking right now. 100,000 times better? Come on, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. Too good to be true. And you know what? That kind of skepticism is healthy. It's exactly how you should feel when you hear an extraordinary claim.
So don't take my word for it. In fact, the people behind this formula are insisting that you don't. The whole proof, every single calculation, every source, it's all freely available online. Every factor is backed by peer-reviewed research from top institutions. The challenge is simple. Check the math for yourself.
This isn't some product they're trying to sell you. It's just information that's being shared, and it's based on a really powerful idea. Truth shouldn't come with a price tag.
So this isn't some utopian fantasy. It's just the calculated mathematical result of what happens when you stop doing something that's incredibly inefficient and start doing something that's incredibly efficient. It's just cause and effect.
And this quote just sums it all up perfectly, doesn't it? The formula itself is clean. That factor of 16 we started with, that was the door that proved the concept was real. And that mind-boggling potential of over 100,000 times, that's the enormous room of possibilities that's waiting right behind it.
So this is where we leave it. The formula is out there, it's transparent, the sources are public. The challenge is to do the math yourself, to share it, to take these numbers to the people who make decisions and ask them to show their work. Ask them why we're sticking with a system that's thousands of times less effective. The information is right here, in your hands. So what's stopping you?